All right, here it is, the new venue, PuttTek Flagstaff. 18 holes. They're gonna have a restaurant and bar. We're gonna give you a little tour of the place here. Course looks very fresh. PuttTek is one of the best course building companies in the world. Let's see how cool this place is. It wraps around the building here. "18 holes. A lot of great looking holes here. Looks like one of the better courses he's ever created. It's the first of its kind, PuttTek Flagstaff. My assumption is they'll be opening up a lot of these locations around the country if it goes well here. You can see this beautiful 18-hole putting course. Hoping to definitely do a tournament here someday. PuttTek Flagstaff coming soon.
Now let's get to the course. Here's hole one. Hole one, you can go left or right. I've been choosing to go right, and I aim for the far right-hand side of that PuttTek sign back there. Playing this front door, but if you hit it a little bit long, it puts it in a nice spot right behind the hole. And let's see the execution here. Starting off on that right-hand side, aiming at the right-hand side of that PuttTek sign. I was lucky enough to make this one. Hole two is a short hole. It looks easy, but it's actually pretty tough to make. I was aiming about 3 or 4 inches outside the right edge. Very difficult to find the right speed. It's sort of a double breaking putt. You can go left or right on this, but going left I found it to be very challenging, so I was just aiming about 3-4 inches right of the hole and hoping for it to go in. Here's hole three. Another short hole, huge right to left break, a little bit tough to see that here in the video. I was starting off on the left-hand side, and I was aiming about 3 inches right of the left edge of that sand trap there on the right. You can see how it kind of moves over there at the end. Here's hole four. Found this to be one of the easier holes on the course. Started off just right of center. And I aimed about left edge of the cup, and you got to hit this a little bit firm. Just missed that one. Here's hole five. Hole five's a tricky hole. Kind of some different ways that you can play this. I was starting off on the center, aiming at the right edge of that first sand trap there. It kind of moves over and then moves back to the left. Here's hole number six. A very tricky hole. You do not want to leave it left or short. It will go into the water and you'll have a very tough second putt. I was starting off on the left-hand side, and I was aiming at the left-hand edge of that sand trap there on the right. And make sure to hit this soft. It rolls out at the end. Very easy to go long here. Here's hole number seven. Found this to be one of the easier holes on the course. We'll start on the right-hand side, and I was aiming just inside the right edge of the cup. Make percentage on this hole is pretty high. Here's number eight. This is definitely one of the toughest holes on the course. It goes right along the street here. You got this wall on the left-hand side. I was starting off on the right-hand side, and I was aiming at the right edge of the cup. Very easy to run this long for some reason. It doesn't look like it goes downhill, but it actually starts to roll pretty quick there at the end. Here's hole number nine. Another one of the more challenging holes on the course. Got a huge long right to left putt. This is probably one of the longer holes on the course. I was starting on the left-hand side, and I was aiming just left of this gray pipe that was on the wall back there. You can see that gray pipe there on that wall. Here's hole number 10. This is another one of those holes where PuttTek kind of fools you and makes you think that you need to go way out to the left, but the better play is actually through the water. I was starting off about one putter head from the right-hand dot, and I was aiming at the left edge of that back sand trap. Yeah, maybe just 2 or 3 inches left of that back sand trap. Here's hole number 11. Another challenging hole. I was starting on the right-hand side, and I was aiming a little bit left here and going at the right-hand side of the second part of the water that kind of comes out. Maybe about 4 or 5 inches left of that first right edge of the water. Here's hole number 12. We've seen this hole on other PuttTek courses. Found this to be a little bit easier to get it on that center plateau. It basically just went center to center. It does seem to move a little bit left to right at the end, but it also moves a little right to left at the beginning, so I think center to center is the play there. Here's hole 13. One of the longer holes on the course. Surprisingly though, I found the make percentage to be pretty high on this hole. I was going one putter head from the left dot and just aiming right at the center of the cup and making sure that I hit it soft. It will get there. And I did execute it perfectly there. Here's hole number 14. Fairly tough hole. I was starting up on the right-hand side, and I was aiming at the center of that back right sand trap that sits behind hole 12. So pretty hard right to left here. I didn't try going left initially there. Maybe there's a good play there, but I was just going right there. Here's hole 15. This putt is very quick. I was starting on the right-hand side, and I was aiming at the left-hand side of that sand trap right there that sits next to the hole. So roughly a couple of feet right of the cup. And this is another one where you just got to kind of hit it soft and just let it carry down there. Here's hole 16. Pretty simple and standard hole. Kind of a little bit of a double breaker here. I was starting on the left-hand side, and I was aiming about 1.5 feet right of the cup. Breaks to the left initially, and then it kind of comes back to the right at the end. Here's hole 17, challenging hole. That little tip of rough right there that creeps out, you got to roll the ball just to the left of that, but it's easy to accidentally roll it into the rough. I was starting one putter head from the right-hand side, and I was aiming in between the far right 2 wooden posts. Here's hole 18. I found it very difficult to get this ball to the hole. Starting it off in the center, aiming at the right-hand side of this dark plastic thing that's in the background that you can't see. It's by the wall, but it's quite a bit right to left. And that was about as good as I could do. Thank you for watching this presentation of the National Putting Tour. We are looking forward to seeing you in 2026 at PuttTek Flagstaff.